In today's video, we're going to delve deep into the topic, trusting God's plan, navigating life's uncertainties. Life is a roller coaster of ups and downs, and we all know how challenging it can be to stay grounded when faced with uncertainty. That's where our faith comes into play. We'll be delving into the reasons why it's so important to lean on our trust in God during these trying times. We'll also be addressing the obstacles and hurdles that might pop up on our journey to trusting God's plan. Doubts, fears, and the unknown can sometimes make this a challenging path, but fret not, we've got you covered. Each and every one of us encounters difficulties, tough times, and our own individual battles that might make us feel powerless, and like the challenges are too much to bear. However, what we may not fully realize is that the solution we're searching for doesn't just come from seeking comfort in a friend or trying to change our surrounding. Instead, it's by understanding our connection to Jesus that we find the strength to navigate even the most demanding situations life throws our way. Beyond simply hoping to be rescued from our troubles, it's important to consistently place our faith in God during these trying moments. As we shape our own unique journey here on earth, we should remember that only He is truly deserving of hearing our every heartfelt prayer. So, why is it important to have faith in God during times that are tough? Let's explore Psalm chapter 100 verse 3, a part of the Bible which tells us that we are like the Lord's special people, kind of like how sheep are cared for by a shepherd. This idea gives us a strong reason to believe in God even when things are really hard. God is the one who made everything and is the all-powerful Father. He can make things happen and stop them from happening too. Because we are like things that He made, we should do what He tells us, even if it seems scary. The Bible has stories that show how God helped people, like when Daniel was safe with lions around him, or when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego didn't get hurt in a super hot fire. These stories teach us how strong and trustworthy God is, and that's why we should trust Him, especially when things are tough. Placing our trust in God during tough times brings many good things into our lives. First and foremost, it makes our belief in Him even stronger and quiets down our feelings of being scared and anxious. Jeremiah chapter 17 verses 7 to 8 says, "It's really good when a person puts their trust in the Lord and feels sure about it. They'll be like a tree that's planted by the water and spreads its roots by the stream. Even when it gets really hot, it won't be afraid. Its leaves will always be green. It won't be worried, even in a year when there's no rain, and it will always produce fruit." This is a way God reminds us that we should believe in His promise that His calmness will be with us even when we're facing strong problems. Trusting God helps us hang on to His promise of calmness, rest, and happiness even after we die. It's about believing in His plans for us and being patient as we wait for Him to make everything happen in the best way and at the best time. Trusting God during hard times can be difficult, and it brings its own set of challenges. One of the biggest problems that can stop us from giving all our problems to God is our doubts. We, as people, often feel really connected to our ideas about the world that don't necessarily involve God. Sometimes we forget about the things that are most important. There are always things that try to pull us away from the true way we belong to Jesus. These influences that aren't good are always trying to make us forget our real connection to God. But every single day, there's a fight between good things and bad things. We have to be smart enough to not be scared and to choose to trust God, even when things are tempting us to not do that. It's like taking a big step of belief even when there are things around us that want us to doubt. Now, let's talk about some ways you can actually learn to trust God even when times are tough. First, you can search for the love and truth that God has left for us in the verses of the Bible. The Bible is like a strong base for all Christians, something they can stand on while they're on their own journey with Jesus. It's proof that God hears us, even when things in the world aren't perfect. Another way is to admit to God that sometimes you don't fully trust Him. This might sound hard, but it's actually a really good way to show that you're being open and honest with God. It's a big step to take, and it shows that even though you might not be sure about some things, you're still looking for His guidance and wisdom. Let's delve further into the ways we can learn to rely on God when things are tough. One really important thing we can do is to make friends and get to know the people who are around us. When we do this, we begin to notice the nice things that God does for us through these people. It's like when a friend helps us out or shows us kindness, it's as if God is using them to show us that He cares. When we're feeling down or going through hard times, it can be incredibly helpful to talk to others who also believe in God. When we share our difficult moments and our feelings of sadness with these friends, it can make us feel stronger. We're reminded that we're not alone on this journey. There are others who understand and are there to support us. So, in a nutshell, building connections with the people around us and opening up to them about our struggles can be a powerful way to remember that God is with us even in the tough times. It's like He's using these friends to remind us that we're part of a bigger team, and together we can face anything that comes our way. There's another way to understand the idea of trust, and it involves paying attention to all the wonderful things that come from God, even in the small, everyday moments. Think of it as discovering tiny gifts that He places in our lives. Even when times are tough, there are still reasons to feel grateful. When we take a moment to recognize these things, it helps us see that we are surrounded by blessings, even when everything isn't exactly the way we want it to be. So, even in challenging times, remembering the good things can remind us that there's goodness all around us. Lastly, it's extremely important to always keep in our thoughts the valuable teachings and messages that God has graciously shared with us, guiding us through life's journey. Alongside this, taking dedicated moments to communicate with Him holds immense significance. This sacred practice is commonly known as prayer, a way to converse with the divine. When we engage in heartfelt conversations with God, it's akin to building a solid and unshakable bridge of connection, one that reaches into the depths of our being. Think of it as crafting a bond that's not only strong, but also rich with meaning, much like having an extraordinary and profound dialogue with the dearest friend we could ever imagine. This friendship transcends the ordinary, as our conversations with God hold a unique place in our hearts and minds. As these dialogues unfold, our ability to place our faith in God blossoms gradually, much like a flower unfurling its petals to the sun's warmth. With each exchange, our trust deepens, and our connection with the divine becomes even more secure and intimate. This closeness isn't just a fleeting sensation, it's a steadfast assurance that we are heard, understood, and embraced by a higher presence. Through these exchanges, we forge a relationship that's built on shared moments, a connection that offers solace in times of trouble and amplifies our joy in moments of celebration. In essence, engaging in this profound practice of prayer cultivates a bond that not only shapes our perception of the divine, but also enriches our understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe. As we come to the end of this discussion, let's take a moment to recall a few of the most uplifting Bible verses that encourage us to place our trust in God, especially during challenging moments. These verses can act as a wellspring of motivation, bringing to mind God's affection, commitments, and influence in our lives. Some of these verses comprise Mark chapter 9 verse 24, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verses 16 to 18, Psalm chapter 28 verse 7, Psalm chapter 37 verses 4 to 6, and Philippians chapter 4 verses 6 to 7, among others. Keeping these verses close can offer us reassurance and guidance when we find ourselves facing difficulties. It's important to recall that when those who strive to do right seek assistance, our Savior listens and rescues them from every challenge they face. Our prayers carry significant weight as they help us maintain a strong connection with God, allowing us to place all our worries in front of Him. God and His commitments deserve the trust we put in them, even when we don't always observe instant outcomes. We should remain steadfast in the confidence that His timing is flawless and our situations don't determine the realization of His intentions for us. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to our channel for more content like this and sharing it with fellow Christians seeking a mindful connection with God. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video helpful, and feel free to leave a comment below to share your thoughts with us. Remember to keep trusting God in difficult times and that He will always be there for us, for He is our Savior. Stay blessed and see you next time.